Hey guys, what is going on? It is Chris here as normal. Hope all you guys did very good on that big 11 game slate. A lot of the picks that I mentioned did pretty good for the most part. There's a couple duds that I put in my lineup, so that I kind of blows. But anyway, hopefully, like I said, you guys did a good one. One of my guys that sleeper picks that did pretty good was Sabonis. Hopefully, you guys put him in there. He had 40 plus fantasy points in there, so he was one of my suggested players. I told you guys I didn't mind, and he went off for sure. So, but there's a couple of other players that I decided to pick, and they sucked. It was just a hard night for us last night. John Wall in a 230 plus total game decided to suck at 18 points. Booker did okay, but he got injured, so he could have got me at least 7, 8 more points. And then I took a shot with Justice Winslow because I thought he was going to be in the starting lineup, and then because he was supposed to play and he didn't play at all. So kind of got screwed last night with Wall sucking, Booker getting hurt, and then Winslow just not playing. So it was one of those nights, unfortunately. Besides that, the rest of the lineup was smoking. If Wall would have picked it up a little bit, we easily would have won some money. Just barely off the cash line in 50-50s. So still, it was a pretty good dang lineup. Just had a couple guys that just decided to suck. So, it is what it is. It happens. Anyway, we're going to start a new winning streak here today. Small 4-game slate. An interesting one. We got some high totals, some games that could be high totals that aren't high totals, and so on and so forth. So for the most part, though, early in the morning, all 8 starting lineups, none of the guys are injured or game time decisions. So that's good. That's good to look at. So as normal, would love to have you guys on board. $50 a month, $350 for the season, including playoffs. To get in on that, check out our website down in the comment section. And also, you can hit us up on Twitter as well. Definitely would love to have you guys on board. So, like I said, a couple hard nights, but it is what it is. Hopefully, we're going to rebound here tonight. So, let's jump right into it here. We got Cleveland and Detroit, our first game. 223 in Detroit by 7. So Blake Griffin, he's been on a roll for sure. I finally have the DVP up. If you guys don't know what that is, that's defense versus position. Haven't had that up because we've only been a week into the season, but now since we're going a little bit, teams have played 2 or 3 games. We're kind of getting a sense of what team is where. So this is a defensive position currently in plus minus mode, as you see there. Plus minus is mostly your possessions and stuff like that, how efficient they are. So anyway, if it's in green, that's good. Averages around 5 per position. Anything above 5 is good, and obviously in the negative is bad. -2 is pretty bad. Anything 5 and under is just very, very, very bad. That means they struggle a lot. So that's kind of what we're looking at here in this one. So let's go look at Cleveland. This is going to be the first team we're looking at. The 2.4 plus point guard. Wow, 9.9 shooting guard. So they struggle right there. 2.6 against small forward and 6.9 against center. So overall, they're at a 4.2. So this team overall, as you see, is not that good. They're half decent against the power forward position just because of Kevin Love, but still only a 1-. That's nothing crazy. So I still think Blake Griffin can get to him. But look at that plus minus right there, 6.9. So that means they don't mind. I mean, Drummond should be in a half decent spot in this one. If you want to put him in there, I think he can get you 45, 50. Had a bad one last game because he got ejected. But I think he can rebound in this one. So I really don't mind some Drummond. Definitely with that plus minus there. Also, like I said, everything else they really struggle at. But unfortunately, Cleveland doesn't really have anyone at those other positions that they can really capitalize. I mean, you can look at Hill, but I just don't care for him much. You can look at Clarkson if you really need it, but and they struggle a little bit at small forward. They got Osman, but this guy's been terrible ever since Larry Nance came back, so that's hurting him a little bit. I haven't been on board on Larry Nance. I don't know what he's been doing. Let me go check him out. 18 and 21, so you can't really consider that. So, so anyway, like I said, you can definitely look at Drummond in this one. Sorry about that. I got that mixed up. I was looking at Cleveland guys against Detroit. Sorry, we're looking at Detroit guys against Cleveland. My bad about that. My bad. Shooting guard 9.9. So Reggie Bullock, that's who we're looking at. He's not going to get you crazy a lot. He's $4,700, but 22 and 23, doesn't seem crazy, but this dude for the most part is playing pretty good minutes. Um, and at the least, he's the lowest drop score, but still, that's not too bad what you're looking at there. So not the highest upside, but a guy that's half decently saved, and in a half decent matchup as well, as you see at 9.9 plus minus there. Who else were you looking at? You got Stanley Johnson. He's been trash. So yeah, you can, like I said, you can look at some Blake Griffin, even though they're -1, but still, I think he can do half decent. Is he a must have? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. He will get a lot of ownership, though. And then really don't mind some Drummond. And as I told you there, you can go a little bit of Reggie Bullock. And then they're not too bad against point guard, plus 2.4. So you can always look at Ish Smith coming off the bench. He's still relatively cheap at $5,100. Last couple games, he's playing a little better. Still playing half decent minutes off the bench, so I really don't mind that. 24 and 29 his last two. So always you can look at him. If you really need Reggie Jackson, that's up to you. So, that's mostly it there. Let's go look at Detroit's defense now. Detroit minus 0.9, minus 6.5, 6 at small forward, 0.7 at power forward, and 6.3 at that center position. So they're not too bad at 6.3 right there, and then that small forward and center is where I guess you can look at them. But as I just mentioned with Cleveland, they don't really have anyone that can capitalize. You can look at Thompson, but he's not really a scorer. He might get you 23, 24. So not really looking at Cleveland in this one. I do like Kevin Love. I know the plus minus doesn't really show anything, but I really don't mind him. Both those guys are at half decent spots right there, Griffin and Love. Love, he just didn't look crazy good last night. So hopefully he rebounds in this one. So look at Drummond, look at Griffin and Love. And then you can look at Reggie Bullock if you need someone to get you 23, 24. And you can look at Ish Smith coming off the bench. If you really need Jackson, you can look at him, but I don't think you really need him in this one, considering all the other point guards. So, for a little cheaper, I think you can get in Ish Smith. All right, moving on. We got Portland and Orlando. Next one here, we got a 216 and Portland by 3. So first, let's go look at the Portland DVP in this one. Minus 4.1, 1.9, 1, 1.6, and -3. So for the most part, they're a pretty good defense overall. 0.5 minus 0.5. So there's nothing too crazy. Like I said, they're always a pretty good defense here. You can look at shooting guard if you really need to. Evan Fournier, he's been pretty good so far. Like I said, not the best matchup for him, but even Boston was a good matchup, and he still did pretty good. This guy's been playing pretty good ball. Last couple games, he can dud on you, so you need to worry about that. But, he's looking half decent. So you can look at him for 6,300. And you can consider Aaron Gordon if you want to at 34.8 a game here at $7,600. Another guy that's very up and down. They are at home in this one, so it's up to you guys if you want to go that way. DVP's not really in favor of him. Plus, it's only a 216 total, so I don't know how many Orlando guys I really need in this one. Let's go look at Orlando's defense here. Where are they at? There they are. Minus 6.8, 1.4, minus 4.4, minus 5.3, and then a 3.2. So they're actually a pretty good dang defense. They held Celtics to 90 points the other night. So, definitely that's not looking too bad. If you really need to go Lillard, you can go there. Like I said, DVP's not looking good for you, but, it is Lillard. You can look at McCollum if you really need it. Nick Stauskas has been half decent off the bench, but you can look at Jurasov Nurkic in this one, $7,500. But it's only a 216 total. It's kind of a trash total. It's the second highest, but it's a 3 spread. So, like I said, you can look at Lillard, you can look at McCollum, and then you can look at Nurkic, and then you can look at Mr. Evan Fournier in that one. So, moving on from that one, we got Boston, Oklahoma City, a 212 in Oklahoma City by 1. So let's go into this. On the bigger slates, I won't be going through every single DVP. I'm just doing this one because it's the first one of the year. So kind of want to know where everybody is. So 3.2, 1.4, 0.4, minus 0.4, and minus 0.3. So they struggle against the point guard position, which is really strange. Irving, obviously one of the better point guards. So you can always look at Westbrook in this one if you need to. They don't have a shooting guard. I mean, you can look at Dennis Schroeder, but he's mostly a point guard backup. And then only a 0.4 to small forward, but definitely you can look at Paul George in this one. So only 212. I think it could be a little higher since they are in OKC. I think Westbrook's going to, make this a little bit faster game than I think they're expecting. So if you want to go Westbrook, you can. He's really dang expensive. Only thing that sucks, like I said, is that a total is really low. So he might finish, with 45 or 48, and that's a little below his salary cap there. Sorry, his salary. Paul George, I don't mind him. What they usually do is Paul George and Westbrook play together for a couple minutes. George comes out for about 4 or 5, and then Westbrook comes out, and then George for the last 3 minutes, usually of the first, and then the first 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the second. He usually has it all to himself. So that's kind of what they do. So George is George. Really don't mind him. It's not bad with Westbrook out there. So Westbrook and George, I'm looking at there for that OKC side. Looking at Oklahoma City defense. We got a +4, a -2, 6.3, a 1, and a 9. So they struggle here at the positions that I thought they were good at. Adams is usually a good defender. That's a +9. Paul George, not a bad defender. That's a 6.3. And then at 4, that's not really Westbrook's fault, but at a +4 there. So, if you want to go Irving, I don't mind him. It's, he looked half decent that last game. I know he's been struggling, but, a little bit faster paced game against another very good point guard may want to step it up in this one. As you see, Orlando, he had 44.1. So, that even, puts me back to Lillard a little bit. If you want to go Lillard, don't mind it. He still should have a pretty good game. So, Irving, I don't mind him. I think hopefully he steps it up in this game. I think it's a good spot for him. I'm not really high on Hayward just yet. And then I don't mind a little bit of Al Horford. I think this could be kind of a double-double game for him in this one. Only $6,600. He might get you 29 to 32 in this one. I don't mind him if you want him. So this is an interesting one. Paul George, obviously, Russell Westbrook. You can look at Al Horford if you want to. How did Steven Adams do last time with Russell Westbrook back? Still didn't do too bad. Didn't score as many points, but still half decent option at $7,400. So, I really don't mind targeting a couple from that one. Like I said, I do expect it just to be a little bit higher than what the total is saying. And then our last game, this is a crazy one here. Denver and LA Lakers, a 239 total. Wow. Almost 240. That's crazy, man. And Denver by 3.5. So Denver's defense actually is not looking too bad this year, but Lakers is one of the faster teams in the league. This should be a good one. I don't think too much defense will be played here. I think Lakers' offense will overrun the defense here for the most part. So let's go look at the DVP for the Denver Nuggets. We got a -7.4, -0.4, -9.8, -7.4, and a -7. That's crazy. But like I said, that's a 239 total. So for the most part, this doesn't really mean a lot to me. It still means a little bit, but with that high of a total, they're obviously expecting no defense. So, you can go look at Lonzo Ball once again. Rondo, this is his last game out. So you can go put him in there. He's going to get you 32 to 33 in this one. Don't mind some Josh Hart. He should get you anywhere from 30 to 32. But you got to remember, these guys are going to be 70-80% owned, so definitely keep that in mind. Lance Stevenson looked pretty good last game, but that was just a random one. He looked tremendous last night with a 47-6. It kind of came out of nowhere. LeBron's LeBron. If you want him in there, get him in there. Don't mind Kuzma. Jokic is a pretty good dang defender, though, so he might get you 30-32. Don't see crazy high upside for him. And another guy you can look at, Ingram, is going to be out again if you need to punt the position. Jonathan Williams has been playing a little bit more minutes than normal. He's not the craziest guy out there, as you see, 23 and only 14. So if you need need to might get you anywhere from 18 to 20. So that's up to you guys if you really need to punt that area. And then let's go look at the Lakers defense. I'm not expecting a ton from these guys. We got a 2.5, a 6.6, 2.3, minus 2.4, and a 5.1. So yeah, they struggle quite a bit. Don't mind Jamal Murray in this one. Last game, he kind of screwed me. Last couple games screwed me a little bit. 8.4 and a 9.2, but he played really small minutes there. Sorry, 29.2. So if he played normal minutes, I think he could have been back there. This game, he kind of got, had a little bit of an injury. So I could see 35-40 for Jamal Murray in this one once again. Gary Harris, don't mind him, 30-35 in this one from him. How did Monte Morris do off the bench? I have no idea. How did he do? 28-1. Yeah, you can look at Monte Morris as well. As we know, Will Barton's out, so Morris is getting a little bit extra playing time. Also, he had those crazy big minutes because of Sacramento. That was a blowout game, so he might get you 22-23 at max. Small forward, you can look at Hernan Gomez, another guy not going to play big minutes, but trying to step up a little bit with that with Will Barton being out. Minutes are half decent the last couple games. Had 22 his last game, so he might get you 20-22. There's not a lot of value out there tonight, so you might just have to, pick some of those guys that I mentioned. Jokic, I think he should have a half decent one here. Like I said, if this total is going to stay like the way it is and that spread, he should definitely go off. Only had 37 last game because only played 23 minutes, but I think he can get you 55, 60, even 65 in this one. I really like Jokic, and 85, 90% of the other people are going to like him as well. Millsap not playing really big minutes these last couple games. Plus, I'm just not too high on him in this game here. I don't know how Trey Lyles has been doing. He's been doing half decent, so if you need put him in there, really actually don't mind that Trey Lyles pick right there. And JaVale McGee, man, who would have thought? Shaq was making fun of him, obviously, his entire career. But, man, he's not talking about him now. McGee is on fire for this Lakers team. 32 and 45 in his last two. Those minutes are looking pretty good, though. I expect, obviously, when Ingram and Rondo come back, his minutes are going to go back down to 19. But, take advantage of this right now. The only thing I'm worried about is a little bit of foul trouble, but this dude's been a beast. Even without Rondo, he's going to be popular, unfortunately. But he's in the best spot to get you 35-40. Like I said, all those other centers, I'm not too high on. You can obviously look at Drummond if you don't want to go McGee, but McGee just makes so much more sense. So, all right, let's try and go get a couple guys in here for you. So, obviously, the way to go is stack that LA-Denver game in a cash contest, 50-50s and double ups. But let me go see here. I really like Murray. I think he's in one heck of a spot. Just stack that late game, honestly. I know it may seem a little cashy, but there's just so many good options there. And I am a GPP guy, but I just don't see a lot of these other games having anyone that can outscore this Laker game here. Maybe go George, but I just don't see anyone that really outscores. You can always go Griffin and Love if you really need to go. If you want to go different, which, don't mind that. I didn't mention Tatum at all. He's in a half decent spot. Had a bad game last time, but it can get you 35 at low ownership. Like I said, you can look at Trey Lyles, as I mentioned, for a little bit cheaper. Jonathan Williams, if you just need a crazy punt that position. So, it looks like just mostly stack the Laker game and put in two or three of the other ones. Usually I wouldn't stack the crazy popular game, but all these other totals just completely suck for the most part. So it kind of makes you just have to put that one in there. Let's go see the models. These are early, but they don't have any of that Los Lakers in there. So, interesting one. Like I said, also, if you want to just punt shooting guard, you have Bullock if you need him. It should be a good one. I think you can easily get in LeBron and Jokic if you're going that way. And then, like I said, put in a couple, one or two from that Boston game, maybe one or two from Cleveland as well. So should be an interesting one for sure. Like I said, most games low totals. And then that last game is in very extremely total and very, very, very high ownership as well on this small slate. So that is it. As normal, would love to have you guys join us. $50 a month, $350 for the season, including playoffs. To get in on that, check out our website in the comment section. And if you have any questions or anything like that, hit us up on our Twitter, which will be down there as well. So, yeah, that is it. Not the craziest slate. Stack that late game, and you should be fine. So after this, I think we got, for the most part, 3 or 4 days of relatively big slates. So far early in the season, it's been big one, small one, big one, small one, medium. You know, I don't really like the way they're doing it, but hopefully, like I said, next couple days, schedule should be a little bit bigger, so that's definitely a good sign. So, yeah, that is it. Hopefully, you guys have a good one on this one. As normal, it's a small slate, so I don't really bet crazy just because it's hard to get away from the crowd, but it should be half decent. So that is it. As normal, if you like the video, please leave a like. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys all here tomorrow for a lot bigger slate.